Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we got a new exciting update today. This one is for the NB4. So the instructions I'm giving you for this are going to be different for the NB4 Plus and NB4 Pro. So this is just for the 20105 update for the NB4. All the radios are getting this update. There's going to be slight differences in what you have to look out for, but the NB4 is quite straightforward. I'll look through the changelog and see what it's added to this radio, and yeah, let's bring in for a close-up look and see how this goes. So first thing we're going to want to do is get our USB connection, plug it into our NB4, wait for the PC to detect it. You will get a flash on the screen when it's detected, and you'll see it'll come up and it'll detect the actual transmitter itself. Now, if you've not already got Flysky Assistant installed, you're going to want to search for Flysky on Google and go down to flysky-cn.com. On here, you're going to go to the NB4. We're going to scroll down to Downloads and Upgrades. You can see we've got the user manual updated, we've got the changelog, so if we have a quick look at that, we can see it's added support for iBus 2 servo and related functions, added support for the new Hobbywing ESC, so the R3 version, added support for Kyosho Evo 2 models. So if you've got any of the new Evos, you'll be glad you've got this update. Optimised failsafe algorithm for better latency. Fixed an issue where the gyroscope cannot be calibrated after updating the firmware of the INR4 GYB via the transmitter. And it's got a few other bug fixes, but you've got a few options on here. If we look down, you've got the FCC version, which is higher power and slightly less battery life. You've got the standard version of the firmware, which is better battery life, slightly lower range, and then you've got the Link 4 Assistant. So you can manually download the update, but they won't back up the model memories, or you can download Assistant and that can back up your model memories. So once we've got the actual transmitter plugged in and detected, it'll show up in here. You can click onto it. If we go update firmware, it'll ask us if we want to back up our transmitter, so we can click back up. Then it'll load us memories. Now, I've been playing about with this, so there's only one. You can tick all if you want to back them all up. I'm just going to back the one up I've been messing around with lately. So we click export, and generally I like to have a folder on my desktop, so I'll just right click and if we go to new and then folder, and I'm just going to call it NB4, and then just go into that folder. You can change the file name and add a date if you want to, but I'm just going to back up this one because it's a lot quicker. Once we've got it backed up, then we can go back to us update. We can see hardware versions 1.2, firmware version 102. So we can click update firmware. We've already backed up, so we can go to update. And then if we look on here to see what versions are available, so the latest on here is 102. So we're not going to be using Assistant to update it. So if we close Assistant, then we can go back to our NB4 updater. I'm going to go with standard version at software, but if you want extra range, you can go with FCC. So I'm going to click on download link. It'll ask you where you want to put it. Well, I'm going to put it in as NB4 folder on his desktop. So if it doesn't automatically open in there, you can just go desktop, NB4. Really should have turned the alarm off on this. And then click save. That'll download the update. So before we go into the updater on this, you've got to make sure assistant's closed. Then on your transmitter, you want to go to system and then firmware update. Put it in firmware update mode. Then you can double click on the updater. It'll detect your transmitter. So usually as Windows detects it, it'll pick it up twice. So you can click on it. It does go through pretty quick. If it detects them both, you can just click on it like I did and it'll say that one failed, but it'll start the update process on the one that is actually the transmitter. And I don't like to skip these bits because basically sometimes it can stick on a certain percentage, and if I skip it in the video and then yawn sticks, people unplug transmitters. Don't ever unplug your transmitter while it's updating. It doesn't take that long to go through, but there is certain stages where it'll like pause on the percentage. And if you don't want it to show up twice, just give it 30 seconds before you open the updater. It's just the time it takes the PC to realise that the transmitter's swapped from normal mode into update mode. But we're currently around nearly 70%. It is nice, we're still getting updates for the NB4 even though it's officially been discontinued. So big kudos to Flysky for that one. I know a lot of brands out there, as soon as they bring a new model out, the original models never see an update, never see any support. And it's definitely not the case with Flysky. I mean, this radio has been out quite some time now, so I am really impressed with the level of dedication and support that we've had with this one. One of the reasons why I actually chose Flysky in the first place. This is my original NB4 and I bought that with my own money. I do have a lot of other Flysky radios that they've sent me over years, but this is my #1 original radio with the sticker that Flysky sent me once I started making the videos for them. Still functioning perfect, still use it with all my bashes. Tend to race with the Pro or the NB4 Plus lately. So if you noticed, it got to about 95% and then it jumps. So you will get a notification on the radio saying RF firmware is lower, please update. So you press OK on that. And as a rule, when you see that, I would update your receivers. So next thing we're going to need to do is reopen Assistant. Now this is not going to be quick, so what I'll do, I'll stop the video here, and as soon as this connects, I'll carry on. Right, so we've got Assistant open, we've got us NB4 still connected, but we need to get his model memories back on. So if we go into device, then go into import, then go into load models, then go back to his desktop, as NB4 folder, we've got his backup. Once you click on that, it'll give you a list of what you want to import, and then it'll tell you do not operate. You can put a tick in the one you want and you can add it, or you can click all if you've got lots in there. Then we just need to click OK. And Assistant V3 will crash. And then we'll go back to loading up again. Flysky, please fix this. This program is garbage. Right, I'll wait for it to connect again. Right, so we've got Flysky Assistant open, we've got his controller connected. So if we click into the device, now I only had one model memory on this, but I've got a previous backup with a lot more on. So I'm going to go to import, I'm going to go to load model memory, I'm going to go to desktop, but I've got some other backups. So I'm going to select one of my previous backups. This should have a lot more memories in it. So on this one you can see we've got a lot more of the RCs in there. So I'm going to select import. And I'm going to go down selecting the ones that I actually want. Then I can click add, and you can move these up and down just by selecting them, and then you can move the arrows to move where they are. Once you've got them in the order you want, you can click OK, and this should start transferring the model memories back. Just remember, you will have to rebind each car back to its specific model memory. And then Assistant V3's crashed. So we'll have to load it up again. I really hope Flysky watch this, because this software is just complete garbage. If it does crash part way through, you can just turn your controller off, turn it back on, restart Assistant, and if you go in, you can see how many of the model memories have actually copied across. So on this, it has actually copied them all, even though Assistant crashed. All the model memories what I selected are back on. So I'll come off that, I'll wait for Assistant to reconnect, and then I'll show you what else I'm going to do. So Assistant V3 is open for the third time, so we click on it, we go to import, we go to load as memories, and this time I'm going to go to my NB4 folder and see if I can bring the model in that we exported originally. So it's just the drift TTO2. So I'm just going to select that one, add, and then OK. It said it's been imported successfully, and at least this time it didn't crash. And if we look on the transmitter, let's bring this across, we can disconnect it now. So if we look on the transmitter, we've got as TTO2 drift, and then we've got all those other model memories. And if we go in and select, let's select a random one, go to the bottom. So if we go on radio frequency setup, we've got Mini Z, FHSS, Evo 2 and Evo. So we've got all that added. If we select enhanced, so then we'd have to go in and we'd have to set as interface protocols, set whichever one you want to be iBus 2. Then it'll have to wait for the iBus 2 device to be connected. But that is the software all updated. We've got 20105. So we have the Mini Z stuff added, the correction for the INR 4GYB, and the iBus 2 settings for the new Hobbywing ESC. So let's wrap this one up. So there we have it, 20105 on the NB4. As I say, on one hand, thanks so much to Flysky for looking after the guys that's got the original NB4, not leaving them all out with these new updates. You now get there's a few bug fixes and that they just generalise on. The main one is any issues with INR 4 GYB updating from the transmitter and not being able to calibrate. They've been fixed. Now compatible with the iBus 2 servos, so they've added some more compatibility for those. They've added iBus 2 compatibility with the new Hobbywing XR3 system, I believe it is. But yeah, just really wish they'd sort assistant out. The actual program is great. It just, software-wise, it's got some issues. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Share to friends and family. And catch you guys again in the next one.